Hello and welcome back to the house in Fata Morgana. So, we finished the supposed last door and are at what can be interpreted as the final choice. But even if I didn't already know that there is a fifth door, I would still be kind of suspicious because, that cannot be it, right? It doesn't feel like we have the complete picture. And also at this point, I just don't really trust the maid. I would even go so far as to doubt whether we even are who she says we are, because it doesn't quite add up. Maybe we are the white-haired girl? I mean, I myself thought it would be a possibility, but I don't know, some things don't quite add up. Like, remember when we were exploring the mansion and saw all these shadows, ghosts maybe, of people that supposedly lived there before? And the white-haired girl was among them. We saw her in the master bedroom. And I don't know, some other things that don't quite make sense. It could still be, but I also think it's just a bit odd that she just tells us, yeah, that's who you are. And we didn't seem to have this moment of clarity of going, right, that's who I am. It wasn't confirmed yet. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but there's one other thing, and I want to go into this in the extras. Because, well, we didn't reach any ending yet, but we have a chapter select here, and I want to go through this together with you, also just because the game has been going on for so long now. I think we can all need a recap. We started with the awakening. You find yourself sitting before a fireplace in a decrepit old mansion. Before you stands a maid who, with great affection, calls you master. At the maid's insistence, you travel the mansion's dark halls, bearing witness to the numerous tragedies that once took place here. She suspects that among them may be hidden traces of yourself. No matter what happens, you mustn't let go of my hand. The year is 1603, and roses from all across the world bloom abundantly in the mansion's garden. The Rhodes siblings, Nellie and Mel, have been blessed with a life of luxury, and Nellie adores her kind-hearted older brother, calling him her prince. From the outside, it would seem the two have a bright future ahead of them, but well, that ended. The year is 1707, and the mansion lies in ruins, a ferocious beast taking up residence in the once beautiful property. The beast, hungry and alone, tells the maid he merely wishes to live in peace. But before long, he loses control of his innate savagery, and a massacre ensues. Elsewhere, in a city overlooking the sea, a young woman named Pauline sets out in search of her lover after learning he has supposedly died in a shipwreck. The year is 1869, and the world is changing rapidly. Technology has seen unimaginable advancements as a result of the Second Industrial Revolution. One young investor in the rail industry named Jacopo is so engrossed in his work he neglects his wife. However, that's simply how others interpret his actions. There's more in his mind and in his heart than just money. Investigation. Upon closing the third door, you find yourself separated from the maid. Shortly thereafter, a landscape painting calls out to you, asserting of your experiences thus far. You were able to bear him because they weren't your tragedies. In light of his admonition, will you continue your quest to reclaim yourself? Now this is one that I remembered after the last episode. You were able to bear him because they weren't your tragedies. But the white-haired girl was present in all the stories we've seen so far. They may not have been the main character of those tales, but still, isn't that a bit odd? The year is 1099, The maid tells you this is the final door. A young man lives alone in the mansion, when a girl, exhausted and on the run, stumbles upon the house. The man cautions her that he is cursed, but the white-haired girl does not heed his warnings, insisting on remaining at the mansion. Tragedy befalls them, enthralling in its beauty. And should you so desire, you may look back upon what you have been shown, for hidden in the cracks, perhaps you will find intentions less than honorable. Yeah, this is for me another big clue as to the maid not being quite honest with us. Oh, I keep calling her the maid, but yeah, she has told us that she is the witch by now, so... Oh, and you saw there was a next button that isn't active right now, but again, everything points to there being more to the story than what we are being told right now. So, if we're going back to the chapter called The Witch, going back to this choice, well, what was it that she told her? Filling you with warmth. You thought back on your time with her in the mansion. She had indeed always treated you with great compassion, and nothing she had said seemed to be a lie. Yeah, what are we to do? Well, honestly, I do not want to accept a proposition right now. Rejecting? Well, yeah, wondering how that would play out. And no matter what happens, I will check out all the other options in my own time. But the one I'm just most drawn to from the beginning is there is still more to be done. Something seemed off. Not only with the story she had just told, with her, and with you, yourself. Assuming everything she had said was the truth. Witch or not, my mind is made up. Which will strike you first, I wonder? Regret or the curse? You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale. The witch is real, very much so. It is not a legend, nor a fairy tale. The witch is me. That's right. It wasn't the white-haired girl who had claimed to be the witch. And that wasn't all. Or do you mean to reclaim your old self, no matter the cost? If you do, if you're sincerely prepared to do that, then be wary of the tale that comes next. Any tragedy that seems too beautiful to be real is precisely that. A fabrication. None of your questions had been answered. You still didn't know who the painting was, or what had taken place so long ago that caused the mansion to summon people to it. You didn't even know who you were, for that matter. There was still more to be done. You had to find the truth. You needed to find someone. That much was certain. But was the story the maid had told correct about whom? And if it was, what about her? What about the woman whose name you couldn't say? The woman who had so cheerfully called you master. We agreed that we would live together, not just in the same house, so we've got plenty of time to add more to the list. And I hope you can make your own list about me too. This is just the beginning, after all. We've got a long, long time ahead of us. Plenty enough to get to know each other, no? You must say her name. You must take her hand. You must make her smile once again. You mustn't reclaim your old self. It's dark. Dark. It's dark. It's dark again. It's dark. 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 Constantly. Constantly engulfed in darkness. You threw it away every single time I must break out of this darkness. I'll give you a world that's not cruel to you. I must escape. And take her hand. Because that's the reason. Oh, I've got a wonderful idea. I came here. You can curse them with me. I must return. I must reclaim. We can think of new ways to torture them. We'll all be happier if you stay here. Just think about it. Stay here, in this world. You'll be right at home. No, I did the best I could for you. Nothing more. This is not where I belong. No matter how much a world of darkness may suit you, you'll never be able to do it. I must reclaim my true self. Okay. Odd. And we were again shown that ghost that I thought would be the white-haired girl. Maybe it wasn't. Well, only this one chance. Reclaim yourself. This is brilliant. Do you have any idea how terrible a decision that is? Do you have any idea why I fabricated that story? It was all for you. So stay here. Stay right where you are. The darkness suits you better. Interesting choice. Choice? Yeah, as if that is one at this point. Reclaim yourself. Remember what someone told you not long ago? That you could handle the stories because they weren't your own? That you were able to bear the tragedies because they happened to others? If that had been your suffering, if the secrets you had kept buried away for so long had come out, you couldn't possibly have endured it. We're not giving up. Reclaim yourself. But you're a sharp one. I'm sure you intended to keep those secrets tucked away forever. Do you really think I'm going to let you do that, though? Whatever you try to hide, I'll make sure your beloved hears every last detail. Huh. Still, we're pushing on. Reclaim yourself. Ah, how foolish can you be? Despite all my encouragement, you still insist on getting your old self back. What do you have to gain from that? Nothing but filthy, ugly tragedy awaits you down this path. Reclaim yourself. Don't get your hopes up, my dear. There's nothing for you there. You have nothing. I'm offering you a place by my side. You should just take it. There is no salvation for you anywhere. None. At all. Anywhere. From anyone. Ever. Reclaim yourself. She has long since lost all grip on reality. And you think there's anything you can do for her now? Despite having repeatedly failed to even regain yourself? Which her are we talking about now? If we assume we are Michelle, then her could be the white-haired girl. Or is her the maid, the witch, and she's not the one talking to us? They're really keeping it secret, and yet again I have to mention this. This mostly works because there is no voice acting, because otherwise you would know who you hear unless it's distorted, you know? Mind games all around, but still we want to reclaim ourselves. Well, I suppose if you're going to be stubborn. As much as I don't want to, I have to place a curse on your soul. That's right. The white-haired girl was never at the mansion. There is still a story left untold. What? The fourth door was all a lie. What do you mean? It was not some sweet little tragedy. The story you told was pure fantasy. No, that was the truth. That was where it all began. Because of what happened then, you spent innumerable years lost, until you showed up here and... What? You reach out, grasping for it. You pull yourself in. Your silhouette, which has been hazy until now, begins to take form. Your mind, your consciousness, your heart, your soul, and your body. Who are you? The veil in your mind dissipates. A crack forms in the shell encasing you. Then another. The invisible shackles chaining your spirit fall to the floor. Reality fades in atop the indistinct, foggy world around you. Bony fingers appear before your eyes. Long hair. Your voice. No. My voice. My body. My fingers. My arms are frail and my joints weak. But despite my resemblance to the white-haired girl, I am not her. This is who I am. I have finally reclaimed myself. You weren't waiting for the white-haired girl. You were waiting for me. And that's exactly why I came here. What? I have no idea what you're talking about. I have always waited for the white-haired. There was never a white-haired girl. There was only this time. This time I must say her name. She is Giselle. There was only you. I am Giselle? No, no. I am not Giselle. I am the servant of the house. And I am the witch, the cause. You are not a witch. The witch is someone else. Why do you insist that you're the witch? What changed you so much? The shadowy figure in the master bedroom, that was her. I told you it didn't quite add up. Not in the way I thought at all. But I was right. It was odd. This took a whole different turn. Like, we knew there would have to be something with the maid, but okay. I'm confused all over again. Thank you, game. Thank you. That was her. A glimpse into our past. I'm sure this is Giselle, but why is she so different? What happened to the spark she used to have? Where did the light she once shone upon the world go? I have to remember. I must remember. This cannot end until I have. This is no longer a story. No, what I need to face is my past. And her heart. She was not even present in the story she made up. Notice that too. Everything about it had been changed. The past I lived and the wounds she bore were more grounded in harsh reality, not wrapped in a film of fairy tale magic. That was the final tale, and it was all true. That's how it happened. It was a bittersweet story. No. How can you not see this? Yes, it was a beautiful tragedy. But was there even a scrap of humanity in it? Behind the 3 preceding doors, there had been a constant thread of ugliness and conflicting motivations. But there was hardly a trace of that behind the 4th door. The characters felt like nothing more than characters. Is that what you want to turn it into? Is that what you want our history to become? Our history? Our... But I don't. I don't remember anything at all. You don't remember anything? No. I don't want to. I don't need a past or a future. All I have left inside me is uncertainty. Giselle. No. That is not my name. Please, stop trying to confuse me. I'm fine with things the way they are. If it means I don't have to hurt, that's all I want. So please, just let me keep being the maid. Let me keep being a guide, not some foolish girl. Is that what she honestly desires? Does she want to cast aside her past for good? If so, then... I won't force her, or not remembering isn't an option. Oh boy. Oh man, okay. Of course we're going to do a quick save here. Casting off the fog. Yeah, that's what it feels like, even though... Yeah, we're kind of turning it around here with the maid being the one that doesn't remember. Or Giselle. This is so odd. Like, what does it even mean? If the white-haired girl wasn't part of the stories in the way she told us, what? Does that even make sense? Oh god, I cannot even think about it too much right now. I'll just confuse myself even more. Okay, so not forcing her seems like the kinder option. I mean, if she doesn't want to remember because the herb is just too much, that's understandable. But then we won't be getting anywhere, would we? It seems cruel, but we've pushed on so far already. Like, not remembering isn't an option. That's basically what it is, isn't it? Oh boy. I'm going to try it. Because I really want to know more. No matter what she says, I know I'm right. And if she doesn't reclaim her old self, I'll never get to hear her say my name again. I know I'm being selfish here, but I can't do that. If you're afraid of what you might find, we can remember together. I haven't gotten everything back yet myself. So, let's open the real door. Together. There are no other doors to open. But there is. One that can only be opened by our hands, because it exists between the two of us. Not a door with physical form, but the door to your heart. The door to... I grasp her unnaturally cold hand, a hand that, long ago, once had warmth. If she can't lead the way, then I have to. I must pick up the pieces of our erased history, so we can both reclaim ourselves. Find the actual truth. No matter what we may uncover, I will not let go of this hand. No, I mustn't let go of it. Oh boy. Darkness falls over the world around us. The floor upon which we had been standing flickers out of existence, sending us dropping into an endless abyss. This dark pit, this is her door, her history, her heart. Let's try this one more time. It's not a sweet story by any means. It's a story of betrayal, anger, hatred. We caused each other pain. But that's the road we traveled. And down that road lies all the answers. Reclaim yourself. The fourth door. The fifth door. 1099. It had been several days since I left the capital, and I could still see it when I closed my eyes. The people lined up on the Grand Pont, awaiting entry, eager to start a new life there, brimming with hope. It was a city people were willing to pay high taxes to live in. If you were a performer, you could get some of those costs shaved down a bit by putting those skills to use. The capital was harsh on those who wanted in, and apathetic about all who left. It was composed of a powerful nobility and clergy, wealthy merchants and bankers, and a large population of poor. And it was the city I had called home for a long time. I didn't know much about where I was heading. It's getting foggy. Now I don't even know what voice to use anymore. Because I gave them the maid and the white-haired girl different voices. Oh well, I think I'm going with a normal one. Oh boy. Looks like it might rain. Maybe we should take a little break. You want to keep going? Oh, alright then. The coachman was frustratingly taciturn. He acted as though he had gotten stuck transporting a prisoner. Well, that was hardly a stretch. From his point of view, I was nothing more than a criminal. Even the times he would acknowledge I had said anything, he made no effort to hide the scorn in his eyes. To pretend he didn't regret ever taking this job. And I would just fall silent again. The road was gradually getting narrower. We had long since left the paved city roads behind, and were now travelling along a couple worn-down grooves in the forest. How did I end up here? Why was I being subjected to this? I was done thinking about it. The more I thought on it, the less fair it seemed. The more I remembered, the worse it hurt. All I could do anymore was close my eyes and weather the storm. Deep within the dense woods, a mansion appeared before us like the world fading into view after a dream. It didn't seem to be an especially large house, but it had obviously been constructed with a great deal of care, and it was, thankfully, not standing in ruins. This deep in the forest. The carriage came to a stop, and the coachman clamped down, signaling with his chin for me to get out. Thank you very much. You must be tired after such a long journey. This is the mansion I am looking for, yes? But the driver didn't even acknowledge me, getting back onto the carriage and setting off into the forest. He seemed to want to get as far away from here as quickly as possible. He could have said something. Oh well. That was about all I could say anyway. Oh well. I couldn't blame anyone for my being here, or for his wanting to get out. I should get going, I guess. Getting a better look at it, the house's windows were, strangely enough, all shuttered. It was probably dark as pitch inside. Does no one live here? But if that's the case, then why was I placed my hand on the front door. Such a big door. What if I couldn't get in? I had no idea what else there was in the area. If the door didn't open, then I would die out here in the forest. I've come to accept much, but I was not ready to forfeit my life yet. Please open. It's not locked, I guess. So far this has been a replay of what we saw in the mirror, isn't it? The door was heavy, and though it seemed to protest my attempts to enter, it still opened much easier than I was expecting. I was worried over nothing. Looking in, I got the strangest impression that light was being swallowed up into the mansion's depths. Rather than going inside, it felt as though I was about to step outside the boundaries of this world. When I closed the door, it was dark. It was so dark, I couldn't even tell where I was walking. I wonder if the window's open. I managed to fumble my way over to a window. It was tightly shuttered, and the shutters caked with rust. I was probably not getting it open without a fight. Darn, not a hint of light. I couldn't even see my hands waving in front of my face. It felt as though the floor would fall out from under me, and I would sink into eternal darkness if I didn't watch my step. Fighting back that fear, I slowly walked forward, tracing the wall with my hand. There was a door at the end of a long corridor. I pulled it open, and a wisp of bone-chilling air brushed past me. It was too dark to see anything, but I could feel something different present in this area than the rest of the house. Uneasiness gripped me. Hello? Is anyone there? Please don't tell me it's actually abandoned. I suppose I can't know without looking around a bit more. My voice simply disappeared into the void. No response. As I pushed forward through the freezing air, for a split second, I spotted a shimmer of light. Squinting my eyes, I was able to make out a large window. Unlike the others, it wasn't shuttered. What do we have here? Drapes? I see a little light beyond. My chances were slim, I imagined, but if there was even a slight possibility of getting some light in here, it was worth a shot. So, I pulled open the drapes. Quickly, I have just one thought, if it's worth checking the backlog again, but we are on the path of really getting to find the truth, right? So, okay, I'm just making sure. The next moment, faint but colorful light shone down on me. It was a stained glass window. From beyond the glass, I could hear the subtle pitter-patter of rain. It had finally started, it seemed. The different colors of light blended into a milky white, dim but wondrous. It's so pretty. It looks like an angel. Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, it'd be... Please do not touch the drapes. Or the windows. Suddenly, I heard a voice, and I could sense someone else in the room. The man's voice was emotionless, neither deep nor high. Before long, he came into view, illuminated by dull orange candlelight. I'm sorry for coming in uninvited, but I did announce myself. The man stood there, practically blending in with the darkness. Had he been there the whole time? He was staring straight at me. His gaze wavered slightly, but not enough for me to read anything in it. Then again, I could hardly make out any detail at all under the light of a single candle. Is this, your mansion? It is. Thank goodness. I was afraid it was deserted. I suspect you would have preferred it if the house were abandoned. Oh, not at all. I would be scared to death staying in this dark mansion all by myself. Ah, I'm sorry. No ill will intended. But I do think it could do with some light. That way you could see where you were walking. And I'm sure this room would look splendid illuminated. Not necessary. I make do perfectly well as things are. How can you see when it's so dark? I have an abundance of candles and oil for lamps. I am not in want of means of creating light. It is not your place to criticize my lifestyle. If you need light, you are free to leave. If you are in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. There's a village not far from here. Trade it for food, then make your way to a larger town. I am no longer able to freely return to the city. I cannot go back there. Please, don't chase me out. I see. And do you ask this of me, aware of how people refer to this mansion? They say that a witch lives here. Not merely a witch. A cursed witch. If you remain here, you too shall likely suffer your own destruction. You're worried for my well-being? Witch or not, my mind is made up. I was sent to this cursed witch's mansion to atone for my transgressions back in the city. It didn't matter what lived here. I had no choice. Which will strike you first, I wonder? Regret or the curse? You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale. The witch is real. Very much so. It is not a legend, nor a fairy tale. The witch. The witch's name was Morgana. Is me. Okay, so if she's basically misremembered, did she mix up? Because this is something I've wondered before, why they would give Michelle the same like hair and eyes basically as a white-haired girl, white hair, red eyes. Did she mix them up in her memories? That's why she saw the white-haired girl like that, and not as herself. Yes. That was our first encounter. It was nothing flowery or dramatic. It was, rather, laced with suspicion and wariness. We knew nothing about one another, and I had no interest in changing that. But nonetheless, that was where it all began. Where my history with her commenced. Okay, so that's the map we have here. Before it was the red roses, that was her point of view, and now it's Michelle's point of view. The woman had jade eyes. Open wide, they glimmered like jewels in the light shining through the stained glass window. She seemed to be at a loss for words. I wasn't lying per se. The rumor said a witch lived in this house, and I was the only one who filled that criteria. Thus, said rumors could be interpreted to be talking about me. After staring at me dumbfounded for a few moments, the woman suddenly burst into laughter. Oh wow! Here I was thinking you were kind of scary, and it turns out you're actually quite funny. What? I never would have guessed you were someone to tell such a ridiculous joke with a straight face. I wasn't. You don't look at all like a witch. I mean, it's dark and I can't really see. But you seem to me like a rather handsome man. The word witch. The word witch has broader meaning than just a woman who practices magic. Any unholy person with cursed powers, man or woman, can be considered a witch. I think I get what you're trying to say, but my mental image of a witch is definitely more a woman. So, you're not a witch? To tell you the truth, I didn't know who might be here, which had me rather scared. But I think I can make this work. What do you... It's a pleasure to meet you, Master. Master. I was sent here from your old home. I was an Abigail for your mother, but, well, I might have made a little goof. I froze the moment the word left her mouth. Home. It rattled around in my skull, shaking up terrible memories that almost brought me to my knees. Why, after all these years, were they reaching out to me now? And not even sending someone to bring me back, just sending someone. To what end? For what purpose had they shipped an Abigail out to this remote mansion? What was my mother thinking? Was this another one of her attempts to break my curse? What do you mean you made a little goof? My voice came out weak. I did my best not to let it show on my face. It was a teeny tiny mistake. Nothing you need to concern yourself with. What did Mother say about me? Well, it was actually your father who told me to come here. I never really spoke to your mother much. Father sent you. That made even less sense. Why would he have? Did Father even know I was here? No, if he had known, I would have been... Who was this woman? And what was her goal in asking to stay here? Well, Well, there you have it. I'll be here for a while. If you need me for anything, do not hesitate to ask. I'm confident I can handle most everyday tasks. Now, where should I begin? Oh, I know. Are you hungry, Master? Food. I can't imagine you eat much, being as skinny as you are. I turned my back on her without responding. No matter what her goal was, she had been sent from that house. There was no way anything good could come of that, and there was no way I could live with someone who had ties to them. I prayed she would take the hint, give up, and leave. Master? And so I kept ignoring her. Master! Master! I ignored. Master! I ignored her. Master, what would you like for supper? Nothing. But failed, spinning back and shouting. Her eyes went wide, and then she gave a sheepish giggle. I glared at her as she fidgeted uncomfortably. Eating is one of the most basic human needs, so if you're hungry, you should really eat. I said I didn't want. What was that sound? Must you ask? That's not a very polite thing to ask a lady, you know. Huh? You know, it was a long trip, and all I had to eat on the road was dried fruit. I felt like I was some kind of animal. So, what I'm trying to say is that I'm hungry. That wasn't the sound of her stomach growling, was it? I thought lightning had struck in the distance. And would like some supper. The kitchen is at the far end of the hall on the first floor. There's food in the cellar. Help yourself to any of it. Thank you so much. I honestly feel like I haven't eaten in days and I'm about to die of starvation. Oh, and I shouldn't need any help finding it. I plan on exploring the house anyway. It's rather exciting, being in a new place. Ugh. Damn it. That did not go as planned. Oh well. She can do as she pleases. I'll have nothing to do with it. Oh, Master! Are you sure you don't? No. Master? Master? What is it now? My name is Giselle. It's a pleasure to meet you. And your name, Oh, Master, you... I actually left the room that time, making my way back to my chambers. At some point, I would seriously have to chase her out. Especially considering she had come from that house. But regardless, I was not terribly fond of her. very interesting to finally see a story from 2 points of views like that. I like it. This really feels like we're getting the truth more than just someone telling a story from one side. It already feels quite different. And Giselle feels very different to how she was shown before. Which would make sense, but... Huh. Like, I mean... sorry. You know what I mean, right? Her personality seems a lot more bubbly. Not so afraid. And yeah, if she was really afraid of hurting, that kind of makes sense. I just had to remember the scenes we were shown with those horrible noises in the background. If we're going to come back to that, or if that was just something to deter us from trying to reclaim ourselves. Oh well, let's push on a little further. I didn't really understand Michel, but that was probably because we were still, essentially, strangers. Having been sent to the mansion as reparation for my mistakes, I wasn't sure who I might find there. But I was tentatively convinced he wasn't a terrible person. He didn't do anything to me, except stay away. Michel spent most of his time in his chambers, which he had told me to never enter under any circumstances. So we rarely encountered one another in the halls. For that reason, I made an effort to be kind and cheerful on the sporadic occasions we did cross paths. I figured if I kept that up long enough, he would eventually warm up to me. And as new housemates, being able to enjoy our time together was obviously preferable to the alternative. If I did manage to break the ice, I hoped we would be able to do some talking about the mansion, about him, about me. I just had to keep working at it. Michel didn't need me to take care of him. He handled his own day-to-day needs and activities by himself, and in fact, he didn't ask me for anything. An aristocrat who had no use for a servant. I hadn't met anyone like him before. All right then. That meant about all I could do was clean. I wasn't sure how his room looked, but the rest of the house was, quite frankly, an absolute disaster. The dust was so heavy it was obvious it hadn't been touched in years. Let's get started. It couldn't be healthy to live in these conditions, so I set out to clean each room in the house one by one. Well, open windows would really help with dusting, but okay. That said, it wasn't going to be an easy task. Not because I was bad at cleaning. In fact, I considered myself quite good at it. But because it was near impossible to find all the dust and grime that needed cleaning under the flickering light of a candle. I can't understand how anyone sane can live in this dark. What's wrong with him? Maybe he's actually a vampire. Oh god, wouldn't that be something? I can see it now, him sneaking out every night to suck the blood of pretty girls. Priceless. That means I'm in trouble. Look at me. Miss One-Woman Comedy Show here. Yep. If I am able to get him to warm up to me though, maybe that'll give me a little more room to make some changes. Like opening some windows. No light and no fresh air. No thank you. Anyway, I set the candlestick down, pulled over a chair to stand on, and started wiping down the shelf. The chair's legs seemed to be uneven, as it wobbled slightly beneath me. So many books. I wonder, do they all belong to him? I knew parchment was expensive, so it was rather astonishing seeing this many stacks of it in one place. There were even some books with bulky, extravagantly decorated covers. He does come from an esteemed family. I'd spent enough time at his family's home. It was a constant bustle of servants and guests. The exact opposite of what this mansion was like. Why had he left his home? What had he done to be sent all the way out here to this remote mansion with a less than savory reputation? Need to be careful not to overstep my bounds. I am a servant now. A servant. But was she not before? Like she said she was an Abigail, which is the same, right? It's a maid. So, wait. Also, we didn't quite catch before what she had actually done to get sent here, right? Well, I kind of don't think it's a big thing, but who knows with this game. But once the thought had crossed my mind, I couldn't get it out. I'd always had a bad tendency to chase my curiosities as soon as they struck, pushing to scratch the itch no matter how much my actions annoyed others. I couldn't do that here, though. I was simply a servant, and if I got on Michelle's bad side, I risked getting thrown out. Sorry, I just reminded myself of how the maid would watch the white-haired girl and comment on her. Was that her, like, protecting her inner child, her feelings, something like that? I was simply a servant, and if I got on Michelle's bad side, I risked getting thrown out. I wonder what kind of books he's got in here. So, I attempted to distract myself. I grabbed one of the books and attempted to pull it out. What? But the strings binding the parchment must have gotten tangled at the back. Whoa! Because the books on either side tilted back with it. And then the entire row came crashing down on top of me. Ow! Oh, for cripe's sake. I had fallen off the chair, and a downpour of books was still coming down on me. A mountain of dust with it. Seriously? What are you doing? Suddenly, Michelle was there, looking down on me from a little ways away. There was, as usual, not much I could read from his expression, but I could hear a vague trace of exasperation in his voice. I was doing some cleaning and... Impressive work. I'm usually better than this. It's just so dark. Mistakes should be expected. I really think we should open some windows, Master. Get some light, some air flowing through here. I never asked you to clean anything. You did this entirely yourself. But there's so much dust. It can't be good for you. I am perfectly healthy. I don't see the problem. Had he even seen himself? No way someone that skinny was perfectly healthy. No skinny shaming here, girl. You look like you have something to say. He can make out my face in this darkness? You know, I wanted to be useful, and cleaning is about all I can do here, so, you know. I was sensing something else, but alright. He let out a sigh, stepped over toward the pile of books, and then reached his hand down for me. I suddenly felt a pang of embarrassment about the fact that I was still splayed out on the floor. But I raised my hand up to take his. Only for him to pick up a book instead. Awkward. You could at least help me up. You have legs, he said, casually returning the book to the top shelf. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he was a terrible person. Okay, that was right about what was said before, that in the tale we were shown in the fourth door it was more like characters. This now feels more like real people. So, Master, are all these books yours? Giselle asked, not a trace of remorse visible on her face, despite having made a mess of the room she was supposedly trying to clean. I gave a curt nod. Really? That's impressive. Must have been hard work getting them all in here, huh? There's got to be 100 books here. You could fill a whole carriage at least. It's like you've got your own personal library. She had been pouting only a few moments earlier, but her smile was back in short order. Her jade eyes were like little balls of curiosity, glittering in the faint candlelight. I was not particularly fond of overly expressive, rather overly curious women. Did they not care that they trampled uninvited into other people's personal spaces? Or were they not even aware that their actions were invasive? I averted my gaze from hers. I receive one roughly every month. Ah, I see. Wait. She turned back towards the shelves. I presumed she understood the implications of what I had just said. Of the fact that there were nearly 100 tomes here, and I received only one a month. Huh. Giselle fell silent. I couldn't blame her if she thought my circumstances, or my family, or my life bizarre. But I didn't care what she thought of me. In fact, it was to my advantage for her to be uncomfortable. I just needed her to stay quiet and keep her nose out of my business. There's more than I thought. I said not to her, but to myself. I had no reason to count the passage of time anymore. Only the books served as a record of how long I had been here. 121. What? There are 121 books. 10 years and 1 month. You were counting. I thought she had just sheepishly gone quiet. What an inscrutable woman. You've been here in this mansion for that long? All by yourself? The truth was, there had been times when I wasn't alone. But Giselle had no need to know that. You already know the answer. A look of pity formed in Giselle's eyes. Enough. I never asked for her sympathy. I am here by choice. You mean you weren't banished here? No restraint, this woman. No. I came here of my own volition. I didn't care enough to elaborate, though. Picking another book up off the floor, I brushed the dust off its cover. It was a gaudily decorated tome. That's a very fancy book, isn't it? But apparently, Giselle was unable to take a hint. What's it about? I let out a sigh and opened to no page in particular, sticking the book out toward her. She was a servant, and a woman. There was no way she could read. I mean, I get what you're saying because of the time this takes place in, but sounds a bit rude. Let's see here. This land is hardly suitable for cultivation. It can only produce over sour grapes. I would probably get more out of it if I tore down the fields and made it into a market. Sounds like a lord's diary. You can read? Well, she could also do math, so not too far off, I guess. I was caught slightly off guard. It was rare for a noblewoman to be able to read and write, let alone a servant. Was she truly what she claimed to be? There we go. I had someone to teach me. So, is this book any interesting? It's dull, worthless tripe. I can't imagine why anyone thought it was worth binding. Tough crowd. But it's not very often you get to see a lord's diary. I am rather curious what kinds of things he griped about. Lord or king, what value was there in another's grumbling? There was no knowledge contained within that book. Just emotions, unsightly scribbles. And there was nothing more exhausting in this world than being emotional. I mean, you're not quite wrong. If you want to read it, be my guest. That wasn't my intention, but right. Once I've got the whole mansion cleaned, I'll read it. I told you, you don't have to clean.
Oh, I've got an idea, Master.
If you're interested, maybe we could read together. Did you hear a word I just said? It's dull, worthless tripe. Still, you might see it differently if you read it with someone else. And I'm sure there are some books here you would enjoy, Master. You're wasting your time. The suspicion and restraint budding between us was trite and insignificant at that point. She was still smiling, after all. If I had been able to maintain that distance, then perhaps I wouldn't have ended up hurting her. It's actually very cool to be able to see whose point of view we're in immediately, because that was one thing that confused me before. Which might have been very much on purpose, now that I think about it. Also, again, going back to that when the maid was watching the supposed white-haired girl, the way she was talking about her might have very well been, yeah, as I said, because the physical traits were more the ones of Michelle. That was why she wanted to, why she was so loving towards her. Huh. I'm also thinking back of what I saw before that people were talking about Michelle's gender, so there's something there, I guess. I'm wondering... Yeah, I think I'm going to stop here for now. Irrational. Well, that's quite something. And yeah, it is very refreshing to be... I mean, at this point, yeah, we can be sure that this is really the truth. And it's been interesting in the previous chapter to wonder that, like, to make this the thing, like you could try and ponder, okay, what is real, who is really telling the truth. But this feels like a payoff, that you finally get to what really happened. Even though, again, we're getting two viewpoints, which goes back to what I said before, that there isn't necessarily one universal truth, because it all depends on the point of view. So it's cool we're getting both of theirs. So yeah, let us stop here for today, even though there seems to be more to discover, and I was told that we still have a ways to go. Just looking at the playtime until now is something. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please, as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And until next time, bye bye.